Allow me to act unprofessionally for just one moment. Ha! So, if you've listened to this channel for any period of time, you have known that Disney Star Wars is on the top of our shit list. The Force Awakens broke us emotionally, spiritually, partially physically, and some of them sexually, but we don't like the fucking movie. Rogue One is a step up, but overall, Disney and Star Wars just is not a good mix. And now the word on the street is that Lucasfilm is very unhappy with Alden Ehrenreich's performance as Han Solo. So last week we had the drama of Lord and Miller being fired, and the other drama of Ron Howard being introduced. And so now we have one more piece of news, so let's just keep this shit train rolling. So this comes from our good friends over at Looper, who's like a less offensive version of Watch Mojo. And the article states, things have been particularly bumpy behind the scenes of the Han Solo prequel. Last week, Lucasfilm fired directors Phil Lord and Chris Miller, replacing them with Ron Howard. But according to The Hollywood Reporter, the studio has also not been entirely satisfied with the performance of Alden Ehrenreich, who will portray the young version of Han Solo. According to the report, Lucasfilm brought in an acting coach prior to parting ways with Lord and Miller. They suggest writer Maggie Kelly, who worked with them on 21 Jump Street. While The Hollywood Reporter notes that hiring an acting coach isn't unusual, it definitely is unusual for when it happens this far into production. Although Ehrenreich isn't exactly a household name, he's not a newcomer either. And it basically tells some of his credentials. Back to the article. Of course, Ehrenreich's performance so far, and Lucasfilm's perception of it, are closely related to the tone of Lord and Miller's film that they were looking to establish. The directors, who are best known for the Lego Movie and 21 Jump Street, which I'm personally a huge fan of, reportedly wanted to bring an increased comedic element to the flick, written by legendary Star Wars writer Lawrence Kasdan. They collaborate closely with their actors and give them creative freedom that, in their experience, brings out the actors' best performances, a source said. Lawrence Kasdan would not allow this and demanded that every line was said word for word. To appease him in the studio, Lord and Miller would do several takes exactly as written and then shoot additional takes. Lord and Miller would reportedly call out lines for the actors to try instead of sticking to the script. And that reportedly upset Kasdan. When the crew were told that Ron Howard would take over the process, said they broke out into applause. For Lord and Miller, there's a chance that they could return to direct The Flash. They were in line for the helm of the DC superhero movie when they left to take on Han Solo, but there's no word yet on whether or not that will just happen yet. So, here's where the opinion comes in. For months, I have said I don't like the idea of a young Han Solo movie. I think it demystifies the character. Everything we needed to know about Han Solo was established in the first film and the first film alone. If there's only one Star Wars movie to watch, you watch the first one, because that's where the character grows the most. People always say Empire's the best. I think A New Hope's the best. But in Empire, Han Solo just kind of guides Princess Leia, falls in love with her, and then sacrifices himself to protect everyone. That's really about it. And then Return of the Jedi, he's just there because people like him. Now, with that being said, he's my personal favorite Star Wars character, and I don't want to know anything more about him. Everything I needed to know was in that first film. He was mysterious and cool. And when you take away the mystery, you take away the cool factor. Perfect example, James Bond. James Bond used to be the alpha male of all cinema characters, and now they kind of neutered him and made him weak. He had mommy issues, and he looked to M, and it was just an odd relationship, and they kind of ruined the new version of the character. If anything, they kind of have to reboot it again when Daniel Craig's gone, because Daniel Craig's James Bond isn't the traditional James Bond. And this is not a James Bond video, so I apologize. But what it is a parallel to the Han Solo character. And, in many ways, it's more significant than a new James Bond because Harrison Ford is the only actor to ever play Han Solo. There hasn't been all these interpretations. There's been a few voice actors that have portrayed Han Solo. And hell, the first time Han Solo was portrayed in cartoon form, Harrison Ford did the voice work. So Harrison Ford has always been the character. That and Indiana Jones are Harrison Ford's crowning achievement on film. He may hate Han Solo, he may have had him killed off for ego reasons, and he hates to admit it, but it's the truth. Han Solo is what made Harrison Ford a household name. But back to Alden Ehrenreich. I was a fan of him in Hail Caesar. I thought the film sucked, but he was fine. And then when I found out he was going to play Han Solo, I thought, well, I liked the charisma he had and the way he moved, and that's kind of how Han Solo should act. So I haven't been too worried about him. I have concerns with Donald Glover playing Lando because I don't care how much you love Donald Glover, and he's okay, I don't hate him, But he's not Billy D. Williams, because Billy D. Williams is the slickest dude in the room. Billy D. Williams is a fly dude. He comes in, he can sweep any woman off her feet, and he can do action and everything else. Donald Glover's just a nerd. Yeah, he grew a beard for this movie or whatever, but that doesn't make him cool. He's still a nerdy black guy. Yay. So, basically, just cast him because he likes Lando, but they should have picked somebody that looks like Lando and acts like Lando, because Donald Glover is probably the farthest thing from Lando Calrissian that I can think of. But with Alden Ehrenreich, I thought to myself, this could work. But now, it's coming out that it won't work, because Disney and Lucasfilm, well, I guess Lucasfilm, because I guess I like to think that Disney, is dictating every little thing. But I think Disney was smart to buy the properties and then let them run their course without being too Disney-fied. Like, I don't blame Disney for the fuck-ups of Episode 7. I blame Kathleen Kennedy and the laziness. And on this film, you can definitely see Kathleen Kennedy's fingernails are just digging into this production. And maybe it's a good thing. Normally, I am not one to ever praise her. It's not because she's a woman in Hollywood. It's just, I think she's got an agenda, and she's ruining established characters that people have loved for 40 years. Like, she ruined Luke Skywalker and Han Solo. And they're going to try to do double duty on Han Solo and really fuck him up. I don't know what Harrison Ford did to her to piss her off that now Han Solo has got to become this joke of a character. But as I sit in my office recording this, I have the Star Wars trilogy posters, and Han Solo is prominently displayed on each one. And it's just, it used to be a sign of, excitement and adventure, and like he's this badass dude, but he goes out like a bitch. And from the sound of it, he's gonna come up like a bitch. The only thing Kathleen Kennedy can't do is erase the memories we have of the original Han Solo, the real Han Solo, if you'll indulge me. And I think she's doing everything in her power to make him and Luke and the guys of Star Wars seem less relevant. But thanks through time and, the generational passing on of Star Wars, she can't fully do that. But I just love the turmoil behind this film. It's entertaining to me because, I don't know, maybe it's a little, what's the word I'm looking for? A little childlike to take pleasure. Schadenfreude is the word I'm looking for. I'm taking pleasure in something evil. Maybe it's wrong for me to enjoy the failings or the problems of this production, but I don't want this movie. And I know you're thinking, well, just don't see the movie. Well, it's not about me not seeing the movie. It's going to ruin the perception of the character. If I don't go see this film, your perception of Han Solo will still change. And then it will become the new Han Solo erasing the old when the old wasn't bad. There was nothing wrong with Harrison Ford as Han Solo. It was perfect. Kurt Russell almost was Han Solo, but he wasn't. And Nicolas Cage, not Nicolas Cage, Christopher Walken, another guy with a crazy speech pattern, was almost Han Solo. We're talking, bullets dodged by great actors. And, everything worked out in the universe to give us Harrison Ford. And this video is not a complaint that Harrison Ford's not playing Han Solo anymore. It's me laughing at the fact that Lucasfilm and Disney's money-grubbing ways is starting to show and shoot them in the foot. Everyone loves to go on about how great The Force Awakens was and how it was so fresh and original, but there's a huge chunk of people out there that acknowledge that it's essentially the first film remade and made more politically correct in today's standard, or by today's standards, which the first film is not politically incorrect at all. By any standards. It's a timeless tale of good versus evil. And now I don't even know what I would call the new one. It's not a tale of good versus evil, because I don't sympathize with good, and I don't want to destroy the evil. If anything, I hope the bad guy wins, because the main character's so insufferable, and everything's just fucking handed to her. It's a disease that's plaguing entertainment right now. We take these weak, unbelievable characters, and we make them, we give them everything, because the female audience needs to feel important. I'm sure the female audience felt important with Princess Leia and all these other great characters like Ripley and Sarah Connor. Even Queen Amidala was cool. Like, I wasn't going out and buying her toys, but Natalie Portman did a good job. And it was heartbreaking to see her die, even though it was kind of funny. But I'm basically going to end this video, but I want to know what you guys think of this. Do you think the Han Solo film is still a good idea? Would you like them to cancel it? And here's something that I want to bring up. There's this name, Anthony Ingruber, that everyone is talking about. Oh, he looks like Harrison Ford. Oh, he looks like Harrison Ford. Well, he does look like Harrison Ford. And I think about 10 years ago on YouTube, maybe not that far back, years ago on YouTube, I caught a video of him acting like Harrison Ford, and I was like, oh, what an uncanny resemblance. You know, he looks like Harrison Ford. His voice is kind of similar. I don't know what the reasoning behind not hiring that guy was. If somebody came up to me and said, Jeff, we can take you back in time and you can be the deciding factor on who plays Han Solo, if I can't cancel the film outright, I'm going to pick this guy. If you haven't seen him, check him out. He does look like Harrison Ford. It's really uncanny. And it would kind of help ease the lack of Harrison Ford because you got somebody that looks just like him. You know, if they would cast other actors that looked like the previous actor to take on other characters, like if every actor kind of looked like Sean Connery, I think it would be a lot more of a gradual change in films. You could kind of keep the same tone. And in Star Wars, you kind of need to keep the same tone. I like Lord and Miller. I love 21 Jump Street. It's my favorite comedy of the last 17 years. I think it's great on every level. But the more I'm hearing about them, I guess, you know, they weren't the right fit. And it's hard for me to say that because I love those guys. And in the back of my mind, I'd love to see that comedic Star Wars movie. Maybe Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum should have played Han Solo and Chewbacca, with Jonah Hill playing Chewbacca. But that's neither here nor there. So if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel if you already haven't. We are World Class Bullshitters. We have a podcast every week. We put out great entertainment-related content. And we don't toe the company line. So when you hear a review of a movie that everyone's praising, if we don't like it, we're not going to feel obligated to say it's great. And we're not going to kiss some company's ass. So if you're looking for entertainment like that, or commentary on entertainment like that, please subscribe to this channel. We have a Patreon. The link will be in the description below. We have some Facebook pages. We have the official World Class Bullshitters fan group where you can interact with us, and we have the World Class Bullshitters page where we put all of our updates and give you all the information of the coming episodes. Also, if you're a comic fan, July is just a couple days away. We are going to have Spider-Man month, so make sure you keep track of that. And finally, hit up our sponsor, IncarnateStudios.com, for all these great t-shirts. There's an anti-episode 7 shirt, Jar Jar over JJ, all kinds of stuff. But if you like this kind of entertainment and you want to see it grow, please support the channel, and we appreciate you watching this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back tomorrow with more.